Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started. Hello, my friends. Here's a quick but important update about this weekend's Monaco Grand Prix. If you don't want to miss any of the latest F1 news, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We post daily videos just for you. And if you enjoy this kind of direct, no-nonsense content, don't forget to give it a like to support our work. Now, onto the main story. During Saturday's qualifying session at the iconic Monaco circuit, a situation unfolded that quickly became the center of attention. An incident occurred between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, two of the sport's most competitive drivers, which led to a formal investigation by race stewards. The sequence of events began when Hamilton, who was on a slow lap, inadvertently impeded Verstappen, who was on a flying lap. This interference caused Verstappen to lose his lap time and nearly resulted in a collision between the two. The situation escalated as questions emerged about whether Hamilton should have moved aside to avoid obstructing Verstappen's fast run. However, upon reviewing the team radio communications, it became clear that the blame did not rest solely on Hamilton's shoulders. His race engineer had incorrectly informed him that Verstappen was also on a slow lap, suggesting that Hamilton didn't need to yield space. Acting on this misleading information, Hamilton continued at his pace, inadvertently setting up the scenario that disrupted Verstappen's lap. Despite this context, the stewards concluded that Hamilton still bore responsibility for impeding another driver during a critical phase of qualifying. As a result, they handed the 7-time world champion a 3-place grid penalty. This sanction dropped Hamilton from what had been a season-best 4th place in qualifying down to 7th on the starting grid for Sunday's race. This decision not only impacted Hamilton's prospects, but also benefited several other drivers. Max Verstappen himself gained 1 position, moving up in the starting order. Additionally, Isaac Hadjar and Fernando Alonso each advanced a spot as a direct result of Hamilton's demotion. These adjustments have significantly reshuffled the grid and set the stage for what promises to be an intense and dramatic race through the tight and unforgiving streets of Monaco. For Hamilton, this penalty is particularly frustrating. Despite the error originating from his team's miscommunication, he ultimately paid the price, undermining what had otherwise been his best qualifying performance of the season so far. Now relegated to 7th, he will face the challenging task of making up ground in a race where overtaking is notoriously difficult. As for Verstappen, the incident adds even more fuel to his desire to push aggressively at the start, aiming to chase down the leaders and capitalize on every opportunity. With both Hamilton and Verstappen determined to fight their way through the grid, fans can expect a thrilling battle on race day. So, what do you think about the stewards' decision? Was the penalty against Hamilton justified, given that the error stemmed from his team's miscommunication? Or should he have been spared, recognizing that he acted based on the information provided to him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned. We'll continue to bring you all the key updates and analysis from the Monaco Grand Prix weekend. For those of you who didn't enjoy the Monaco Grand Prix, even with the introduction of 2 mandatory pit stops, and believe that this race should be removed from the Formula One calendar, Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff shared some interesting suggestions during a recent interview. Could these proposals make the Monaco Grand Prix more exciting? Let's take a closer look. Toto Wolff advocated for the implementation of specific rules for the Monaco Grand Prix starting in 2026, aiming to prevent race strategies that deliberately reduce the race pace and ultimately compromise the competitiveness of the event. One of the issues he raised is the common tactic where some drivers intentionally slow down to benefit their teammates, a scenario that unfolded during this year's Monaco race. With the mandatory 2 pit stops, drivers from teams like Racing Bulls and Williams slowed their pace significantly to help their teammates make strategic pit stops and maximize their chances of scoring points. This tactic worked to perfection for those teams, but had a significant negative impact on Mercedes. Both Mercedes drivers ended the Monaco Grand Prix outside the points, a deeply frustrating outcome for the German team. Wolff's proposed solution includes introducing a limit on the time gap between drivers and the race leader. The goal is to prevent drivers from excessively slowing down and, instead, maintain a more consistent and competitive race pace. Under this proposal, if the race leader is setting a lap time of X, then other drivers must lap within a regulated margin, eliminating situations where drivers cruise 3, 4, or even 5 seconds slower per lap than the leaders, which is exactly what happened during this past Sunday's race. In addition to these regulatory changes, Toto Wolff also suggested the potential for modifications to the Monaco circuit layout in collaboration with the Automobile Club de Monaco. While he acknowledged the geographic and architectural constraints that make significant changes difficult at such an iconic street circuit, Wolff emphasized that it could still be worth exploring minor adjustments to improve the racing spectacle. The idea of altering the Monaco circuit is not new. Fans and pundits alike have frequently suggested, for example, removing the chicane after the famous tunnel section, arguing that it could open up opportunities for more overtaking. Wolff's comments reignite that debate. Could we one day see the Monaco layout modified in a meaningful way to enhance the excitement of the race? While such changes may be a long shot given the prestige and history of Monaco, Wolff believes that open discussions about the circuit's future are positive and necessary. His frustration following Mercedes' disappointing result was palpable, particularly regarding the strategic gamesmanship employed by rival teams that hindered Mercedes' ability to compete effectively. So what do you think? Do you agree with Toto Wolff that Monaco needs specific rules to limit excessively slow lap times and enforce a more competitive race pace? Or do you believe that the Monaco Grand Prix, with all its quirks and challenges, should remain as it is, untouched by new regulations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, we'll keep you updated on all the latest developments from the world of Formula One right here at Point F1. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, and we'll be back soon with more F1 news. Thanks for watching. Take care, and see you next time. Lando Norris carved his name into Formula One history with an extraordinary performance at the 2025 Monaco Grand Prix, where he not only shattered the all-time lap record during qualifying, but also claimed a commanding victory on one of the sport's most iconic and challenging circuits. The streets of Monte Carlo, known for their unforgiving barriers and limited overtaking opportunities, provided the perfect backdrop for Norris to demonstrate both his raw speed and his growing stature as one of Formula One's elite drivers. In the critical final moments of qualifying, Norris delivered a lap for the ages, stopping the clock at an astonishing 1 minute and 9.954 seconds. This sensational effort made him the first driver ever to break the symbolic 70-second barrier at the Circuit de Monaco, eclipsing the previous record set by 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. It was also a historic moment for McLaren, marking their first pole position at Monaco since 2007. A significant milestone for a team that has been steadily rebuilding its competitive edge over the past several seasons. Norris's achievement was not merely a product of raw pace, but also a reflection of his precise driving style and supreme confidence, threading his McLaren through the narrow confines of Monaco with surgical accuracy. When race day arrived, Norris converted his pole position into a flawless victory, expertly managing the race from start to finish. Despite sustained pressure from Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, who started second and was eager to claim victory on home soil, Norris held his composure and controlled the pace throughout. His ability to maintain focus and avoid mistakes on a circuit where even the slightest misjudgment can lead to disaster was a testament to his maturity and racercraft. Meanwhile, Norris's McLaren teammate, Oscar Piastri, secured an impressive third-place finish, further solidifying McLaren's status as a formidable force in the 2025 championship battle. The team's strong result was also a product of strategic excellence, particularly in adapting to the new regulations introduced this season at Monaco, which required drivers to complete 2 mandatory pit stops and use at least 3 different tire compounds. These changes added an extra layer of complexity to race strategies, but McLaren navigated them seamlessly, allowing Norris to maintain his lead and Piastri to secure valuable points. While other teams struggled to optimize their strategies under these conditions, McLaren's execution was near perfect, reflecting the team's well-synchronized efforts both on and off the track. This victory marked Norris's second triumph of the season, following his earlier success at the Australian Grand Prix. With this win, he significantly closed the gap in the Drivers' Championship standings, reducing the deficit to his teammate Piastri to just 3 points. This result has added further intrigue to what is shaping up to be a fiercely competitive title fight, not only between McLaren and their rivals, but also internally within the team itself. The battle between Norris and Piastri promises to be one of the defining narratives of the 2025 season, with both drivers demonstrating the capability to challenge for the World Championship. Beyond the statistics and championship implications, Norris's performance in Monaco symbolized his evolution into a complete driver. Once viewed as a promising young talent prone to occasional inconsistency, he has now transformed into a methodical and calculated racer, capable of delivering under the most intense pressure. His record-breaking lap and subsequent victory at Monaco have elevated his status within the sport, confirming that he belongs among the very best on the grid.